Dun-na-na, tracer, dun-na-na, tracer. So first off, the harness. This part is a vinyl I got on sale as a scrap. To create them, I just put two pieces of vinyl together, stitched around the outside as you can see on the left, turned it right side out like on the right, and then I'm about to top stitch it. So everything up top is a nylon webbing, which means it's not stretchy, it just stays as is, and over the shoulders does not stretch. The bands on the side are elastic so it fits around me, and everything down below on the leg is also elastic. Oh. Everything is sewn into place except for this front piece. I just found that the easiest way to take it on and off is with a safety pin. So there's a giant safety pin right here that releases it, and that's how I get it on and off. The giant buckles on her shoulders are made out of Vacuform. I just carved them to the right shape and spray painted them black and then silver. And the little clamps that go over the buckles are just two pieces of regular craft foam glued together and spray painted neon orange. And to hold these in place, honestly, besides gluing or Velcro, I found the most stable way was to literally just pin them on. There's sewing pins in the bottom stuck through the webbing and the foam. And that's how they stay on my shoulders. Alright, so let's get into how I made the Chronal Accelerator. Or should I say the Chronal Accelerator? Yeah, I can put my name into anything. So I'm using the same foam as I used to make my arm bracers, and if you want more info on that, please go check out my other video. Alright, so this piece I'm starting out with is actually the front rib piece. And what I did was I just patterned it out of newspaper, holding it up to my body or to a mannequin to get the correct shape. And as you can see around each edge, there's about a 1/4 inch of excess space, and that's gonna fold down over the top of the foam. And I've cut away the corners so nothing overlaps. And to make your cut corners look nice and pretty and all sealed together, you want to use a soldering iron to heat up just that section of Worbla on the tip, and then use your fingertips to smooth it out. Using this method, you get really nice, clean, sharp corners, and you don't have to worry about melting the foam with the heat gun. So essentially, you're only topping the foam with Worbla instead of making it a complete sandwich and covering the whole thing. Once you have a piece covered in Worbla, you need to be able to shape it to your curve of your body. So you need to be really careful and put your heat gun on a low setting and gently warm up the Worbla on top of the piece, just enough so you can get it to curve to follow the shape of your ribs. You can see I've also made the front circle. I did this the same way. I cut a circle out of the foam and covered it with Worbla. And I'm using that circle as a focal point to match up the rib piece underneath it. What? Season 3 of Sherlock is on Netflix? When did that happen? I gotta stand over here so I can watch. And here you can see the back side of the circle, how I had to carve into the foam to get it to shape around my chest. And here I'm lining up the top triangle piece. I made this the same way. I used the 1-inch foam, carved it into the right shape, and then topped it with Worbla. Once I was happy with the fit of all the pieces, I went on to painting them. So I am taping off the foam because I want it to be that dark gray color. Go ahead and prime your Worbla. I am using wood glue, and make sure you sand it smooth and add as many coats as you need until you're happy. For the base color, I used a white gloss spray paint, and I'm going back in and aging all of the armor pieces to be dirty and colored the way hers are. I went over this in more detail in my previous tutorial, but what you want to do is get a little bit of paint on a fluffy brush, gently swipe it across the surface, and then wipe it down with a paper towel. And then repeat that process as much as you need until the piece looks as dirty as you like. Specifically for Tracer's armor, I am using a warm brown topped with a little bit of a gray color to match reference photos. The front circle I spray painted silver and then added all of the details on just with acrylic paint. Alright, now to assemble the front piece. So I glued a piece of Worbla to the back of the triangle and the circle to keep those two pieces together. And on that Worbla place in the back, I put a piece of Velcro so I could Velcro it to the front of my harness. And to make sure everything fit comfortably, I wore the harness as I started to place the pieces into place. Using a Sharpie, I made a small tick mark on the underneath of the circle part to mark where I needed the rib part to fit into place. To attach the circle to the rib pieces, I wanted to use elastic so it would be able to stretch and bend around my body. And to glue the elastic into place, I used my Spray 74 glue. Final detail for the front of the accelerator are those floaty, rotating things that hover in front of her light. So I made two of them, a smaller one and then a larger one. Both were made out of really thin Vacuform plastic, but any sort of thin plastic will do. I was able to cut these to shape with scissors, and that's how I got them to look so nice and clean. I scuffed them up with a medium grit sandpaper and then painted them with a light blue translucent paint. Each of the circles has 3 little plastic legs that I made out of the same material and just super glued on. And then on the front circle piece of the armor, I cut little slits that the legs were able to slip into the Worbla. I topped that off with some super glue to keep it all into place, and surprisingly, even though these were really flimsy, they held up really, really well. And the front piece, so this plastic thing that's made to look like it's levitating has broken. This piece is completely broken right here, but you know what, it still stays there. I think that broke 2 conventions ago and it's just stayed there and no one's noticed. Moving on to the back, I did the same thing. I did a lot of trial and error with newspaper patterns to get the pieces to fit on my back the way I wanted them to, and then I cut those out of foam and topped them with Worbla. These pieces right here are the rib pieces on the back. These pieces are a lot thinner, but I needed them to be extra sturdy because there's what hold the front and back together. So I made the base just out of craft foam, and then I used the sandwich Worbla method to cover the entire thing and make it really sturdy. Right here I'm planning ahead a spot for wires to go to light up the front and the back piece together. Alright, so right here you can see all the pieces of my back. Up top are the shoulder pieces already covered in Worbla. Above those are the side pieces that go around this circle. I am carving out the circle right now to make it fit the shape of my back. And up at the very top, that is the very low piece on the back of her armor. Now to put everything together. So start with the circle. You want the top of those black ladder stair step things, I don't know what they are, whatever. You want the top of that to be about where those buckles are on your shoulders. Next, add the shoulder pieces, and again, mark on the circle where those need to go. To attach those pieces together, I spray glued a bit of elastic in between the circle piece and each shoulder piece. I also spray glued pieces of Velcro to the very tops of the shoulder pieces so they can Velcro to the straps of the harness. And the spray glue holds very well, the Velcro never came off, and on the harness, I made sure to sew the Velcro down to the webbing so it would not come off either. For the side panels along the circle, I just used contact cement and glued them to the back of the circle. It doesn't fit! So the bottom piece is supposed to sit on top of the side pieces of the circle, but when I did it, I patterned it out too big, so I ended up just gluing it to the back, and everything looked okay. No one ever noticed, so I made it work. Once the entire back was put together, I secured the whole thing with hot glue just to make sure everything stayed in place and would not move. Once I made sure the entire back piece fit correctly, I went on to adding the small silver rib pieces. So the back piece is one solid, immovable mass. The little rib pieces are held on with pieces of elastic so they can move and fit around my body. This is the other rib piece, the mirror to this. And one side needed to be connected because I need wires running to the front light. All the lighting and electronics are a separate video, so if you have any questions about that, please check out my lighting video of how I made this whole thing light up. So here is the final look of the armor. This is how I store it. It's been about a year since I've made it. I know it took forever for me to get this videos up, okay? I'm sorry. It has seen quite a few conventions already, so it is a little more banged up than the pristine manner in which you have last seen it. But it kind of like curls out. So pretty much how this attaches to the harness is all through Velcro. The main thing to hold on the front is the piece of Velcro here that attaches to the very front of the harness, just like that. And we move on to the back, which it has those two Velcro pieces up here on the very top of the harness, as well as in the armor right here. There's also a piece of Velcro right on the edge of this armor piece and on this harness, so I just kind of feel and push those together. The other two pieces of Velcro are on the sides. So the harness right here, and then the side patch has Velcro right there. So my last rib piece has a piece of Velcro here as well as in the back of this. So that's how that Velcros together, and then again another piece of Velcro on the harness behind it to Velcro it to my body. You know what? It's totally supposed to have like a bar here. Wow, I totally forgot a piece of my armor. Wow, shame on me. All right, I will get to that, and I'm gonna have to add that piece and fix the rest of this that's broken. Yeah. Oh, doesn't that look good? Oh my gosh. Okay, dim. Oh, let's go brighter. Really, 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 really bright. Oh, I broke my mannequin again. All right, good night. Did I brush my hair today? No. Will you ever know that? No. This is the back piece. It's one. It's fine, I caught it. Yeah, that's something you get to look forward to in the electricity video. Remote control lights, ready? Boom. 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 Oh yeah, I love this topic. Yeah!